Hi everyone, this is Hiba from My Little Journal, and today I'm excited to be sharing with you my week in the life process. So if you've been around here for a while, you know I've never done week in the life. I get overwhelmed with these types of projects. As you guys know, I'm a very simple kind of gal, and these types of projects overwhelm me. So when I saw that Ali Edwards released a notebook for Week in the Life, I was all for it. I thought this is the year I try it. Because the notebook has like prompts for you, it has a timeline. It's just so simplistic, and I love that because you can make it your own. You can add photos if you want to. You don't have to add photos if you don't want to. I just thought it was so much fun, and I wanted to try it out for myself. So I went ahead and started Week in the Life last week. I knew that this week I would be very, very busy. So I decided that I'm going to be documenting the week of June 13th. So I started last week and I already documented Monday. I documented Monday because I wanted to try this out. I wanted to see what I wanted to create in this notebook. And I love how it turned out. So I decided to turn on my cameras and share with you my process for Tuesday. So if this video, if you enjoy it and you really like the process, let me know down in the comments. I will definitely share more. It's just not going to be all at once. As I work in this notebook and document my week, I will share my videos. So let's get to it. So basically, like I said, I kept it simple. I love that each day is a different color. So I stuck to that theme and I decided to, if the Monday was yellow, I'm going to use all yellow. So you can see here that I highlighted my time here. I used a lot of my stamps, and I also used my stamps to fill out the gratitude and the feelings. I thought I have plenty of stamps that I can go through to share my feelings and my gratitude in a creative way. And all I did was I like literally stamped puppy snuggles because I'm always so grateful for Stitch's snuggles in the morning. Family, we spent a lot of time with the family on Monday. Just like music, we bought a new saxophone for Laith on Monday. So little things like that, how hot it was, that's definitely how I was feeling that day. Really, really hot. I couldn't wait to get home and take a shower again. But I really love this page because it's just different and creative. And I feel like I didn't need any photos on the spread. The stamping and the words tell the story. And oh, by the way, as you can see, I added more of that yellow. Next up, I love that this notebook has the prompts. So like watching, eating, driving, reading, worrying, playing, filled all that out. And then on the opposite side, I created one of my specialties is my stamps telling the story. I do this in my passion planner, and I thought, why not do it here? It's going to be a lot of fun. I have the space for it. So again, I used my stamps. I did doodle, you guys. Look at that bee, he's so cute. But anyways, I used my stamps. I used some stickers to kind of tell the story of my kind of currently in that day. And I love how this one turned out. And I love that yellow. It's just so gorgeous. You guys know how much I love yellow. And here's where I added my photos. So for Monday, let me tell you the story about Monday. Monday was kind of busy and not. I can't even explain it because we did have some pool time and a relaxation time, but also I felt like I was running all day. So a lot of times when that happens to me, I forget to snap pictures. So I set an alarm to remind me to take a picture every 2 days, not 2 days, every 2 hours. And by the 4th hour, I started getting frustrated with my alarm because I just didn't have, like, I was in a moment where I can't take the picture now, like while I'm driving. So basically, I just decided to go with what I have. And these are some of the photos that I have, and I think they are special. We just have I have a photo of when I took my son to go get his new saxophone and we tried it out, pool time with my sister, spending some time outside, taking care of my grapevines. I just spray them every once in a while. Got to see my brother on the road. I let Laith take that picture, by the way. I do not take pictures while I'm driving. Working in my craft room, my parents, hanging out with my parents, feeding Stitch, cleaning, just little things like that, going to bed. It still worked, and I really like how it turned out. I created little collages. I still wanted to use some of those products that I got from Ali Edwards, and I wanted to fit them in, so I made sure to play with the sizes of my photos so I have space to stamp and add those beautiful embellishments. Also, that kit came with 4x6 cards, and obviously I'm not using pocket pages, so I just trimmed out the days of the week, and I'm gonna use them as headers for my photos. And I didn't print any photos for the next 2 pages. I have to go back in and print a few photos. At that time, I ran out of ink and I had to order some from Amazon. So by the time I got it, I didn't print my photos. So anyways, hopefully I'll get to that very soon. But I thought I would do Tuesday with you. So what I've been doing is in the evening, I'm filling out the day at the end, and then I'm printing the photos and kind of playing with my stamps. So I went ahead and filled out my journaling. This, I will do it on camera with you guys because I want to use my stamps to fill this out. And I also filled out my currentlies, and we can fill out the photos and add the photos and all that good stuff together. So I'm really excited. I'm excited that Tuesday is in blue, so I'm gonna grab my blue markers and my blue ink pads to create some fun spreads. So let's get to it. I'm gonna do like a quick voiceover while I'm creating my spreads. Okay, you guys, let's start working on my timeline. I'm just gonna go over the time with a blue marker to match my Tuesday. And once I'm done with that, we are gonna start stamping. For the next 2 pages, the gratitude and feeling page, I've been using my stamps and a little bit of journaling to kind of document how I'm feeling and what I'm grateful for. But I also really wanted to use my large number stamps and my day stamps to stamp the date and number. So I've been using these stamps from the Paper Person shop to stamp the number and the day of the week. I feel like it brings in some color to that spread, and I don't have to overthink what I'm gonna add there to that blank layout. So it's been working for me, and I really like how it looks, so I go for it. I'm gonna be using so many stamps, so I'm just warning you right now, there's a lot of stamping going on these spreads, and I will try to link whatever I find or whatever's available down in the description box for you, so I'm not constantly saying, oh, this is a stamp set from Kelly Perky and this stamp set is from Studio Calico. So I'm going to try to break it all down in my description box for you. But once I stamp the date and day, I'm going to work on my gratitude. So there's a bunch of things that I was grateful for that day. The kids and I went exploring in the city. We had lunch at an Arabic restaurant, which was so good. And I spent some time with my siblings. My brother, I'm so grateful for my brother because he helps me out with teaching Sabine how to drive in Parallel Park. So he took her out that day. It was so hot, so I was so grateful for AC. So I made sure to do that as well, document that. So I basically stamped a little stamp that said City Explorer. I also end up stamping Best Brother. I stamped Stay Cool. I even grabbed one of my Ali Edwards stamps to stamp these little people to kind of represent the kids and I. Just little things like that. I also am loving the arrows. I feel like the arrows really bring in the color. And because I want to keep to the theme of blue for Tuesday, I was filling out those arrows with some blue ink. And I'm just keeping it simple. Honestly, I journal a little bit underneath each stamp that I stamp out. And I will literally do the same for feelings. So that day I was feeling happy. I felt very Arab because we got to go and eat in an Arabic restaurant and enjoy it and kind of fit in, basically. So I stamp little things like that. My son's car overheated the night before, so we were dealing with car problems. So I end up stamping things that represent me being upset, kind of. And I have been stamping hot basically for every day because it's been so hot. So really, I'm just going through my stamps, my alphas, and filling out these spots with some stamping And basically, I'm still telling the story, but through my stamping and a little bit of journaling. My recommendation, if this type of project overwhelms you, just do what you know what to do. If you're a stamper like me, use your stamps. If you like to write everything out. Don't overthink it with this picture taking and all this journaling. I really feel like these projects are amazing to document your life, the way you live your life and the way you craft. It doesn't have to be done in a certain way. And that's really why I'm enjoying this project. I really was overwhelmed at the beginning, thinking I have to take a picture every 2 hours, I have to write a story every 2 hours. But really, that's not the case. When I really thought about it, I thought to myself, just make it my own. And if I want to take loads of pictures, I will. And if I can't, it's not a big deal. So basically, what I'm trying to say is just do you and have fun. Anyways, I'm almost done with my spread. I'm just going to stamp hot at the bottom. I'm going to grab my marker and fill that out, and then we can move on to the next 2 pages. So for the next 2 pages, we have our currently and a blank page. So what I've been doing is using my mega date stamp to stamp the date at the top. And then I'm going to use my stamps again to fill out this blank page. At first, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with that page. I really thought I was going to be adding photos, but I thought, I have a lot of space in the back to add photos for each day. Why don't I just be creative and have fun with this spread? So I've been doing this in my passion planner where I add stamping to represent what happened throughout the day and then add some arrows. And I thought it would be fun to do it on a bigger page. So I go for it. I literally stamp like an ice cream cone to represent us having ice cream that day, going to the city, driving because I took Sabine out to drive for the day. We picked up her transcripts from school. So I stamp a little building and stamp school underneath it. So little things that represent little moments throughout our day. And it's a great way to be creative. So think outside the box, try to make this work for you and have fun. But basically, as you can see, I'm sticking to my black and blue. I'll even grab my Crayola markers and color in everything, well, not everything, just little tidbits in blue to give you that pop of blue on your spread. And because I bought one of the kits from Ali Edwards, I think it was designed by Paisley Press, that kit just, I loved it. It was very black and white, a little hint of pink. It was a great little kit for me, and I want to stick to my kit as much as possible because it really removes all that stress when you're creating in a project like this. So I'm going to actually grab that kit in a little bit and use a card from that kit just to fill out that last little bit from my spread. This is where I grab my marker. I'm actually going to go over my prompts as well with the blue to bring in, again, some blue to the opposite page as well. And I will grab my kit. I find a little 3x4 card. Obviously, I'm not using pockets, but I still want to use that kit. So I'm okay trimming it down to fit into that space. And it breaks down all that stamping. You can see I did a lot of stamping, but I do like to break it down with a sticker or an embellishment. And this time around, I'm just going to use this card to break down all that stamping. I'm almost done with the spread. I'm just going to grab my pen and add arrows from one stamp to the other just to add a little something to my layout. I don't know why I like adding arrows, but I'm just going to add a few arrows here and there, and then we can move on to the fun part, which is adding my photos. So in the back of each day, you have some blank pages where you can add photos if you want to. And I decided to start each day with my favorite photo. So I've just been printing 5x7s and adding it in that space. And this is one of my favorite photos from that day, this picture of my ice cream, and it was so, so good. So I went with that. And on the opposite page, I wanted to change it up a little bit. So I went through my die cuts and I really love the idea of stamping a quote to kind of like an opening page for my photos. And that little die cut was perfect for that. I ended up sticking that in the corner, and then I'm gonna stamp slow down and enjoy the simple little things in life using my alpha stamps. So I changed up the alphas. I used all kinds of fonts to fill out the page, and I love how it turned out. I'll even go back in with my blue marker and color some in. I will edit a lot of the stamping because, like I said earlier, there's a lot of stamping on my spreads and it takes forever. But I still wanted to share with you how I put these spreads together and how fun basically it is. And the end results are always so fun and beautiful. But, anyways, I end up using all kinds of different stamp sets. And again, I will be adding everything I use down in the description box for you. But once I finished stamping my quote, I felt like it needed a little something even after adding color with my marker. So I end up going through these little acetates that I had from Studio Calico, and they had quotes on there as well. And I thought, you know what? Actually, I can add another quote. It brings in some color. I found a blue one, so it was perfect. I end up adding it at the bottom, and then I move on to my next few pages. I will end up coming back to this page at the end of this video and adding a little something. I felt like I was kind of off with my quote. It was more to the left, wanted it to be centered basically. So I'm going to end up fixing that, just adding some pattern paper, but we'll talk about that when I get there. So at this point, I'm done with my first two pages. I'm going to move on to my next two. I have been enjoying playing with my photos and the sizing. I really like the look of that collage, especially when you have multiple photos. Just play with the sizes. I printed some, like, I think some of these were 3x3s. I had 2x7s, I think. I honestly don't even know. I just went with it. I was creating collages and printing them out. I think it's fun to add little tidbits in the center and in the middle of your photos just to break down all those photos. And like I shared earlier, I've been using those 4x6 cards to add little headers for my photos. It's a great way to use those cards and add a little something to my collage of photos. So I like how my photos look on my layout. So I'm just going to go ahead and stick them down. And then I'm going to grab my kit and go through the embellishments because I want to add some color and interest to my layout. I want to go through the kit to find little things that fit into my collage. And I love this pink fabric-y thing. It's so pretty and it's a great way to add some texture to my spread. So I end up adding it to my shawarma photo. And I will find a few die cuts to go in that little empty spot there. At first, I thought I was going to use that coffee one. So I switch around my photos, but I end up not using it. I just felt like it didn't fit in properly. And I like the 2x2 cozy nook instead. So I end up using that to fill out my empty spot. But once I figure out where I want things, I can use my chipboards as well, just to add a little interest. Now with the chipboards, I have been removing a lot of layers from the backing because I don't want the bulk. And because I'm stamping so much in this notebook, I don't want it to be bulky and hard for me to stamp. So I've been removing the backing of it. But at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and stick things down. Basically, on Monday, the kids and I went exploring. We went to a Middle Eastern restaurant. I did a lot of laundry. I had some time to read. And I also made sure to capture my routine. So feeding Stitch, making my coffee, little tidbits. I didn't focus way too much on all the things, again, like I said, I was getting frustrated with the alarm. So some moments I wasn't able to capture, and that's okay, but I was able to capture a lot of the important things from that day, if that makes sense. Now, in between my photos, I like to stamp a little something. So I just stamp little tidbits here and there to fill out that empty space. I go ahead and stick things down, and then I'm going to move on to my last 2 pages of Tuesday. So I still have some photos that I want to document. Just a picture of the kids and I with my sister and my niece, a picture of Stitch. He's so adorable, and how he was kind of down that day. So I wanted to capture that as well. And just pictures of us in the city. So I'm going to end up creating my little collage, and I'm going to go through my chipboards to find the right chipboard to add in between my photos. I love these chipboards from this kit. I wish I could buy them separate because they're just so gorgeous, but I end up adding a few. And then I'm going to be stamping as well. I have a nice fun stamp set from Studio Calico that kind of represents every day. So I stamp sleep, eat, shine, repeat next to Stitch's photo. And I will also stamp go make today super magical. And then I'm going to go ahead and remove some of the backing from my chipboard, kind of removes all that bulk, and add a few here and there in between my photos. I have been using liquid glue for my chipboards because regular tape will not hold them down. So I do end up using liquid glue, and that hasn't really affected anything, honestly, on my notebook. Anyways, I'm almost done. For my last page, I have a large 5x6, and basically it's just documenting me reading. And so I have a picture of my Apple Watch with my audiobook in there, and I created that with Canva. It's a really easy process, by the way, but I created that with Canva, and I'm going to use one of these chipboards right in the center of my photo. I thought it was perfect. I didn't want to add much to my photo because I think it looks pretty cool. And then I'm going to stamp "We Tell Ourselves Stories in Order to Live." I believe that's an Ali Edwards stamp set, and I called the spread done. Now, when I was doing the flip through for you guys, there was little things that I felt like I wanted to add. So I end up adding, I have the stamp set from Studio Calico that has like bursts. I don't even know what they're called. And they're so cute and fun to add to titles, like large titles. So I end up stamping a few around my quote. And then I stamp some on my photo. I just switch out my ink pads. I like to use my archival ink to stamp on photos, and I love how it turned out. But I also, this is where I decided I felt like my quote wasn't centered. So I just trimmed down some pattern paper in blue and add it to the edge of my quote page, and it actually looks so much better, and it added some color to that page. I also wanted to stamp routine to this laundry photo. I felt like it was fitting. I had that white space, so I end up just stamping routine using a Studio Calico stamp, and then I call my spreads done. Basically, it's stamp heavy, but I love it. There's loads of photos to represent the day and to tell the story. And I hope my video inspires you to create some fun spreads if you purchased this notebook from Ali Edwards. But anyways, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. And if you did, please give me a thumbs up. And if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. And I hope to see you guys very soon. Bye.